everyone. Hello everyone. Good evening for all of you tuning in today. Just gonna wait a couple of seconds for a lot more people to come in. All right. So good evening everyone, and welcome again to Mind Over Matter with me, Banaisha Kharas. Today what we're going to be talking about is something which is so popular and something that all of us need at some given point of time. Today's topic is anger management. So I'm going to wait in just a few moments longer so that we have more people join in. Some of you asking me how I am. I am well. Hope you are doing well. So a quick question while we wait on for a few more to join in. Does anger management as a topic, is something that you resonate with, is something that you have always looked forward to? So a couple of yes, no's, maybe would be really nice to see through. All right, so we are getting some thumbs up. We're getting some in the question box. All right, great. So let's start off with today's topic, which is anger management. All right. So anger management is something that we've all experienced. It's anger that we've actually experienced. But managing our anger is something that has been possible in some situations and has not been possible in some situations. So today I'm going to share with you a few things that has actually got me to really think about my anger and see as to how exactly do I really go about with my anger management. So the first and the very important thing that we all must realize and we must know is that choices made in anger cannot be undone, right? There is a famous picture, there is a painting actually, which is of a wolf that is jumping over off a cliff. Unfortunately, it did not fit in this graphic of mine to show you very descriptively, but it's a wolf that's chasing an eagle and falls off a cliff almost without realizing that the eagle can fly over and fly through. His anger that how can the eagle be faster than me and how can I not be able to captivate the eagle has led him to not realize that he is almost falling off the cliff, which of course leads him to dying. So anything that we make, any choices that we make when we are in an angry frame of mind, in an upset frame of mind, and we then have this master blast with the opposite person or sometimes even a lot many people in front of us, it never really turns out well for us as well as for the situation or even for that matter the relationship that we are in. So I'm going to take you through 7 of these things that I simply follow. So first and foremost is think before you speak. Now there are many moments that upset you, that anger you, that frustrate you, that make you think, why did this happen to me, or what is the need for it, or what is this added thing that has come into my bucket. But know the fact that it is done, and once it is done, there are very few things that can be reversed back. So just like giving you a quick example of today, I had an incident with my own mother wherein there was an error that was caused at her part which could cost me something or could not cost me anything. Now that is a big question, right? But however, in the moment that it happened, I got a little upset about it happening. Now there were 2 choices that I had. One was to, of course, retaliate and say this is your fault and this is what you've done, and so on and so forth, and give her a piece of my mind. The second thing was to think about it and to rationalize and to see what can really be done to salvage the situation. So thinking before you speak can save a lot of relationships, can keep your blood pressure in its same in its same tone. At the same time, it makes you understand the situation from a very different perspective. Because there are lots of moments in our life which test us. There are lots of moments in our life that make us angry, upset us. Many things don't go our way. But it is truly those moments that we make those choices that define us to who we are as people. So in life, you have bright moments and you have dull moments, you have light moments and you have dark moments. It is what you decide to be in those very moments, decide what character and what personality that you kind of exude out. So it's really important to think before you speak. Many things will upset you, many things will anger you, many things will definitely not go your way, not even 90% go your way. The question really is, what are you going to do then? How are you going to act then? It is one of the most vital things to think of, to think before you speak. So that's my first point. Because a lot of harsh things are said and done when angry, and then those things cannot be taken back. Moving on to my next point, point number 2, which is once you are calm, then express how you feel. So once you have actually understood, all right, this is the given situation, now what is it that I can actually do? Once you've even done that, then you want to communicate how you really have felt to the person who has brought this situation or these feelings towards you. So walk up to them and then gently, compassionately, but yet assertively talk to them and tell them, this is how I feel when you did this. So start your sentences by using the words, I feel like dash, when you said dash, or when you did dash, or when this happened. Start by saying, I feel. When you take ownership of how you feel, it just brings a lot more clarity to the conversation. It becomes less of a blame game of you did this and so I did that, and because I did that, you did that, and all of those tit for tat just kind of gets minimized. So once you are calm, express your feelings to people rather than what they should have done better. So for example, if you're really upset with somebody, rather than saying, you did this, so that happened. You did not do this, so this is happening to me now. Rather than that, tell them how you feel. I feel hurt that you landed up doing this, which today has brought us to in this relationship or this situation, or anything in life at that given point of time, depending on what your situation is. So it's really important and it's very vital that you do express how you feel, but don't express your absolute anger, because you are supposed to calm down and then talk about your real feelings. Anger is an emotion which then culminates a lot of feelings, such as insecurity, such as anxiety, being hurt. All of these are feelings. Anger is an emotion which then gives you all of these feelings. So it's really important to express how you feel and not rage, which is anger. Moving on to the next point, which is point number 3. Identify possible solutions. So as I was telling you today, that it wouldn't be wise to lash out to my mother when she made an error, because even she knows she's made an error, right? So of course she's going to feel bad about it and say sorry about it. And what you really need to identify is what is the possible solution, rather than feel angry and lash out at that person, or even if you don't lash out at the person, keep on brooding about it, hold grudges on it. it doesn't really work, because it doesn't do good for you, it doesn't do good for them, and it definitely doesn't do good for the situation. So keep in mind to identify possible solutions which will actually help you to get calmer, to understand better, and to rationalize how you can take things forward. Coming to the fourth point, which is stick with the I statements. So coming back to the point wherein we spoke about I feel like, so using I feel like rather than you make me feel like this, you did this, so this happened. Stick to the I statements, because again, it brings a lot of ownership to you being a part of that act as well. See, today we get angry on certain things is also because we have been a part and parcel of that situation. So if I'm getting angry at something, which means I also have had certain kind of expectations. Now the question comes to, did I need to have those expectations? Maybe not. When that makes me a part and parcel of the anger too. So it makes me responsible for certain things, right? So it's very important to know and to take ownership for your feelings, for your statements. And let those statements start with ownership, which is I, rather than you, right? So moving forward to point number 5, which is don't hold a grudge. So a lot of times when we're angry, we'll end up holding grudges. And then we take these grudges right into the future, wherein sentences like, you did this 2 years ago to me, and now I'm just being cautious. So whether it's a relationship, whether it's, something related to your career, whether it's related to your family, whether it's related to your friends as well. Don't hold grudges, because today your relationships are going to be way weaker than you think if you keep on holding grudges. I always like to give this example that grudges are like stones on the pathway. So you have a smooth concrete pathway and then you have stones coming through. Now those stones from far cannot be seen when you are driving past, but those stones have the ability to puncture into your tires and actually give you a flat tire, which can just be a roadblock, right? So you might be seeming to appear to drive on a concrete road, but actually what's happening is that those stones of the pathway are actually puncturing the main drive. Similarly, grudges are like stones. They cannot be seen. They can only be felt, and the repercussion is bigger than anything. Similarly, if we hold grudges from any of our past experience with anybody around us, not only are we not improving our relationship with them, but we are not improving our relationship with ourselves. So stones, when found on the concrete road, don't even make the concrete road smoother, whether a car drives or not, right? So it's really important to know the fact that grudges are those irrelevant, unnecessary baggages that we hold from our past experiences, which we don't rationalize, and that's how they make it into our future. So I would say don't hold grudges, because even karmically it does not elevate your soul. Moving on to the 6th point is to be assertive. So it's really important in your communication to be assertive. Now, if you don't want the situation to come through again, now all of these 5 points were managing you, right? Now, how do we manage the situation so that it next time doesn't happen to us, and next time we don't feel like somebody else is taking us for granted? Being assertive is one of the most vital formats of your communication. So I'd like to club in the last point as well in this, which is check your communication. So our communication is very, very important, because how we talk to somebody and how we express what we feel is really important. So the choice of words, the tone, when we say it and how we say it are really, really important. So coming back to my assertive point, wherein it's very important for you to know what you're firstly angry about, What is the damage that has actually been caused to you? What are the threats that are actually coming out that is why you are lashing out in anger? And thereafter, is there any kind of solution that you can give for the situation? To prevent all of these things, whenever you are communicating from a point of command, which means that if I am giving you instructions in any format, so say for example, I'm your boss in this case, okay, and I'm asking you to do something, I need to be assertive and tell you, say for example, your name is Binaisha, okay, so I tell you, Binaisha, I would really like you to go ahead and take on this task, but please make sure that you're doing it with absolute responsibility and trust, and make sure that you are giving it by the deadline, which is so and so. Now, I have said this very assertively. I've said this crisp and clear. I'm not saying, Binaisha, please make sure that it's done by your deadline. Please make sure that you're doing it well. Please make sure that you do it with trust. Please be a little responsible. Now, when I'm doing all of this, what has changed? My tone has changed. My words have changed. I'm sounding more apologetic. My facial expressions were very different. They were more like, please, please, begging you to do so. When I'm assertive, I'm not angry, I'm not shouting, I'm not screaming. I am talking to you in a very normal adult to adult tone. I am requesting you to respond to me. And that is what assertive tone means. It does not mean that you have to shout. It does not mean you have to talk so loudly, just like I did right now. It means you have to be very crisp, very clear. There are lots of times when you are at the airport and you're getting late and somebody in front of you is taking very long. Rather than saying, can you please hurry up? You're being really, slow with what you're doing. That is being rude. Being assertive means, would you be taking any longer? Because I actually have a flight to catch. So if you don't mind me going forward first, it would be beneficial to me. I hope you don't mind. What are you really saying here? It's polite, it's firm, and it's getting your point across. And that is what we mean by being assertive. And that is also what I mean by checking your communication. Because your tone really sets the mood for everything. You might be saying the nicest thing possible to the person, but if you say it in a very crude manner, in your tone is incorrect, then your words have no value and no meaning for it. So this is from me to you, giving you 7 points on how to manage your anger and in turn how to manage you. I hope this has given you a great bunch of insights and has got you to be thinking about a few things. And now I'm ready for any of your questions to follow. Okay, so I have turned on the comment section as well as the questions. So I do have a few questions here, which says, how to overcome anger of frustration. So first and foremost is that when you are frustrated in any format, please know that you need to understand, what are you really annoyed about? What are you really upset about, right? And if at all you are upset about a particular thing that has happened recently, or a relationship with your parents, with your spouse, with your partners that is really frustrating you, try to have a conversation with them. Try to have a reasonable understanding with them and share how you share how you really feel about it. Because being frustrated is just sometimes in our minds, it sometimes just throws us off. Certain things that haven't really gone our way, it makes us moody, but it's not really it's not something that we need to keep within ourselves and saying, oh yeah, but I have an anger problem and that's just how I am. You need to kind of channelize your anger. You need to see what is it that's really frustrating you about this particular person, and thereafter discuss it with this person or discuss it with the situation, whosoever being involved in it, and then take it forward. All right. How to respond to a situation but not to react to a situation. So being responsive versus being reactive is something that I've always spoken about in my videos here at Mind Over Matter and otherwise too. Being responsive is the first step, is to hear, is to listen. When you listen to somebody, when you understand what they are saying, that's when you can actually respond. A reaction is almost like when somebody throws a ball at you and you duck, right? That is a reaction. That is something that your mind is just instantly reacting to without even thinking otherwise. So whenever you are in an adverse situation, what I would encourage you to do, and something that I have done over years of practice, is to listen to people and then understand what their perspective could be, what they might be wanting to tell you. And thereafter, if you don't have an immediate answer to what they have to say, take a moment and say, what you have said I have understood, and let me think about it and get back to you about, I don't know how I feel about this right now. So come back to it, think about this, take your time. So somebody is breaking up with you, you just want to react, you're like, why? You want to cry, you want to shout, you want to understand what is the reason, you want to keep on saying, tell me the reason now, why are we breaking up, so on and so forth. And I've seen a lot of this, and then in anger and frustration we actually hurt the person who we claim to love. But it's really, really important that you actually go out there and take a moment and say, all right, I've understood what you've had to say. I need to think about this. I need to channelize my feelings. I need to channelize my thoughts. I need to understand what this really means to me. And then I will get back to you about how I truly feel about it. Someone sacking you from a job, similar situation. Say that, all right, I have understood this, and all okay. I will think about all the feedback that you've given me, and then I will take things forward. So take some time out. Okay, I'm gonna take some questions from here. Someone's asked, will the video be saved? Yes, always the video gets saved. It is in the Mind Over Matter series on the IGTV section. Okay. How to deal with colleagues or boss who frequently make you angry? Well, Deepika, you need to see really what about them is really getting you angry. What about your colleagues or your boss is really upsetting you? And if at all you can have a conversation with your colleagues about this, do so. But before that, I would say that make a list of what is really upsetting you and then rationalize. Are you over expecting from this person? Are there certain things that you can change about yourself rather than so many people changing about you, so many people changing about themselves? See, whenever we find ourselves in a situation where there's so many people that is having an issue with us, or we are having an issue with them, we need to see that we could sometimes be the cause of it and not other people. Because ultimately 10 fingers are pointing outward, but they're coming from you itself. So there might be situations wherein you feel you are right, but actually you're not. So we need to take a stock of our thoughts, our expectations, our feelings as well before we start to expect certain things from other people. And that is what angers us mostly. Okay. How to stay calm when you're angry? Well, this was a whole session on that, so maybe you can go back to seeing the entire video, and then do share any of your questions with me down in the comments, and I will be happy to answer and take them through. Okay. Let's see. Someone said it's not that easy. Of course, it's never easy. Alright, let me see what else is the question. So someone asked, where will you save this? So this will be saved on Namami Life's page on the IGTV section. Alright. So the last question that I'm going to take is, what if communication doesn't work and ultimately it ends up hurting our own emotions? So it's how you really communicate to the opposite person, one. Of course, the second thing would here be that maybe they are not open to that communication, or maybe they don't want to take the relationship forward in that format. And that is when you really need to take the sign, you need to take the signal, and you need to then kind of cut your way through off, because everyone's not going to be open to communicating with you. Everyone's not going to be open to taking things forward from your perspective, and sometimes letting go is the best way possible. All right, so I think I've answered pretty much all of the questions. So great. I hope this session was insightful for all of you that are here. Thank you for sticking on for all through the session. And I will see you next Monday with another topic here on Nomami Life on Mind Over Matter. Take care.